Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Rama asked, Holy Sir, by what method is this known? And what should I know by which the knowable comes to an end? Vasishtha replied, The wrong notion that this world is real has become deep-rooted on account of persistent wrong thinking. However, it can be removed that very day on which you resort to the company of holy men and to the study of holy scriptures. Of all scripture, this Maharamayanam is the best. What is found here is found elsewhere, but what is not found here is not found anywhere else. However, if one does not wish to study this, one is welcome to study any other scripture. There is no objection to this. When the wrong notion is dispelled and the truth is realized, the realization so thoroughly saturates one that one thinks of it, speaks of it, rejoices of it, and teaches it to others. Such people are often called Jeevan Mukta and also Videh Mukta. Rama asked, Lord, what are the characteristics of Jeevan Mukta and Videh Mukta? Vasishtha replied, He who while living an apparently normal life experiences the whole world as an emptiness is a Jeevan Mukta. He is awake but enjoys the calmness of deep sleep. He is unaffected in the least by pleasure and pain. He is awake in the deep sleep, but he is never awake to this world. His wisdom is unclouded by latent tendencies. He appears to be subject to likes, dislikes, and fear, but in fact, he is as free as a space. He is free from egotism and volition, and his intelligence is unattached, whether in action or in inaction. None is afraid of him. He is afraid of none. He becomes a Videh Mukta when, in due time, the body is dropped. The Videh Mukta is yet is not I nor the other. He is the sun that shines, Vishnu that protects all, Rudra that destroys all, Brahma that creates. He is the space, the earth, water, and fire. He is in fact cosmic consciousness itself, that which is the essence in all beings. All that which is in the past, present, and future, all indeed is He and He alone. Rama asked again, Lord, my perception is distorted. How can I attain to that state you have indicated? Vasishtha replied, What is liberation? Is known as the Absolute Self, which alone is. That which is perceived here as I, you, etc. only seems to be, for it has never been created. How can we say that Brahman has become all these worlds? O Rama, in ornaments I see only gold, in waves I see only water, in air I see only movement, in space I see only emptiness. In mirage, I see only heat and not else. Similarly, I see only Brahman, the Absolute, not the worlds. The perception of the worlds is beginningless ignorance. Yet, it will vanish with the help of inquiry into truth. Only that ceases to be which has come into being. This world has never really come into being, yet it appears to be. The exposition of this truth is contained in this chapter on creation. When the previous cosmic dissolution took place, all that appeared to be before disappeared. Then the infinite alone remained. It was neither emptiness nor form, neither sight nor the seen, and one could not say that it was, nor that it was not. It had no ears, no eyes, no tongue, and yet it hears, sees, and eats. It is uncaused and uncreated, and it is the cause of everything as water is the cause of waves. This infinite and eternal light is the heart of all, and in its light the three worlds shine as a mirage. When the infinite vibrates, the worlds appear to emerge. When it does not vibrate, the world appears to submerge. Even as when a firebrand is whirled fast, a fiery circle appears, and when it is held steady, the circle vanishes. Vibrating or not vibrating, it is the same elsewhere at all times. Not realizing it, one is subjected to delusion. When it is realized, all cravings and anxieties vanish. From it is time. From it is perception of perceivable objects. Action, form, taste, smell, sound, touch, thinking, all that you know is it alone. And it is that by which you know all this. It is in the seer, sight, and the seen. As the very seeing, when you know it, you realize yourself. Rama said, Holy Sir, how can it be said to be not empty, not to be illuminated, and not dark? By such contradictory expressions, you confuse me. Vasishtha replied, Rama, you are asking immature questions. Yet I shall elucidate the correct meaning. Even as the uncarved image is forever present in a block, the world, whether you regard it as real or unreal, is inherent in the Absolute, which is therefore not void. Just as one cannot say that there are no waves present in a calm ocean, the Absolute is not empty of the world. Of course, these illustrations have limited application and should not be exceeded. In truth, however, this world does not arise from the Absolute, nor does it merge in it. The Absolute alone exists now and forever. When one thinks of it as a void, it is because of the feeling one has that it is not void. When one thinks of it as not void, it is because there is a feeling that it is void. The Absolute is immaterial, and so material sources of light like sun do not illuminate it. But it is self-luminous, and therefore it is not inert or dark. This Absolute cannot be realized or experienced by other. Only the Absolute can realize itself. The infinite consciousness is even purer than infinite space, and the world is even as that infinite is. But one who has not tasted capsicum does not know its taste. Even so, one does not experience consciousness in the infinite, in the absence of objectivity. Hence, even this consciousness appears to be inert or insentient, and the world is experienced as such too. Even as in tangible ocean, tangible waves are seen, in the formless Brahman, the world also exists without form. From the infinite emerges and exists in it as the infinite. Hence, the world has never really been created. It is the same as that from which it emerges. When the notion of self is destroyed by the withdrawal of the fuel of ideas from the mind. That which is the infinite. That which is not sleep nor inert is the infinite. It is on account of the infinite that knowledge, knower, and known exist as one, in the absence of the intellect. Rama said, Lord, during the cosmic dissolution, this world which is clearly seen now, where does it go? Vasishtha said, From where does the son of a barren woman come, and where does he go? A barren woman's son has no existence, ever. Even so, this world as such has no existence ever. This analogy baffles you only because you have taken this existence of the world for granted. Consider this. Is there a braceletness in the golden bracelet? Is it not just gold? Is there a thing called sky independent of emptiness? Even so, there is no thing called the world independent of Brahman, the Absolute. Just as coldness is inseparable from ice, what is called the world is inseparable from Brahman. Water in the mirage does not come into being and go out of existence. Even so, this world does not come out of the Absolute, nor does it go anywhere. The creation of the world has no cause, and therefore it has had no beginning. It does not exist even now. How can it reach destruction? If you concede that the world has not been created out of Brahman, but assert that it is an appearance based on the reality of Brahman, then indeed it does not exist, and Brahman alone exists. It is like a dream. In a state of ignorance, the intelligence within oneself appears as numerous dream objects, all of which are nothing other than the intelligence. Even so, in what is known as the beginning of creation, such an appearance happened. But it is not independent of Brahman. It does not exist apart from Brahman. Hence, it does not exist. Rama said, Holy Sir, if that is so, how is it that world has acquired such a sense of reality? As long as the perceiver is, the perceived exists, and vice versa. And only when both these come to an end is there liberation. If there is a clean mirror, it reflects something or the other all the time. Even so, in the seer, this creation will again and again arise. However, if the non-existence of creation is realized, then the seer ceases to be. Such a realization is hard to get. Vasishtha said, Rama, I shall presently dispel your doubts with the help of a parable. You will then realize the non-existence of creation and lead an enlightened life in this world. With this, we finish today's chapter. See you again.